Welcome to our lovely future humans who have self agency, and above all, you also love being yourself. So, you use mindful communication skills, the inner growth, mindset practices, and lifestyle choices that lead you to body and connection. So, the resiliency of your restorative embodiment. You're enjoying to be a human who can think and feel, which is why whether you're a free subscriber or a paid subscriber, maybe you're not a subscriber yet and you can subscribe. Depends. Hold on a minute. Let me read to you so that we can see if we are a good match. I talk about self-led and VBS self-led. Okay, so that means ventral vagal state. So we're always happy because our ventral energy is our E state. Some people tell you all about their tragedy because they still have tragedy going on, which is unfortunate business. It breaks my heart that those who have the first 3 years of their life not beginning with their body being able to be in connection have to go through so much suffering. However, thanks to ignorance being no longer, unless you're a mediocre person, the mediocre people spread rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you, or about holistic and spiritual practices being, bullshit? Yeah. So, no, it's not bullshit. Let me explain. When you have a body in connection, that means that you're able to make the best of yoga, mindfulness, mindset, because you actually have access to the emotional brain. It's not a traumatized brain. It's a non-traumatized brain, the right side of the brain. And then the left. Okay, so here we have the future humans who are integrated brain. That's why I make a joke. No, I make the reality is they don't think we're here. Who's they? The 3D, 4D collective of mystics and spiritual bypassers and all people who are using their amygdala. Alert. So they also secular savior complex people. So they make fun of the ones of us who are feeling good. I feel good. No. I knew that I would. No, they don't make fun of us. They actually say we don't exist. So just because you're not seen doesn't mean I'm going to be unseen, you see? And so I decided today that I would allow myself to begin to spotlight. Some of us know how to use our ventral vagal state. We're enjoying it, and we've been enjoying it. That's why I talked to you about my panic attacks, because I've had the panic attacks, and I was like, yeah, I didn't die. Sure, they're uncomfortable. I'm not going to whine on nutshell therapy lady who's giving me advice. No, she's giving me great tips on how to work it out. And it still is uncomfortable when it happens, but I'm not going to whine about it, and I don't feel like I'm being tortured inside. Okay, so some people, they have a very different life because their body, their neuroception began with survival mode, and I'm sad for them, but they can get out of it. So ignorance is why mediocre people spread rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you. They also think they're better Christian Catholics because they have more ignorant people who actually allow themselves to write books and then tell you that they're theologians and they're the proof of why Reiki would be a bad energy. I'm just letting y'all know. Pseudo-intellectuals, they like to wield their mouths and bring to you their dogma. Pseudoscience people like to say, I respect sciences. 97% of what is out there is unavailable for all of them to see. So I'm not making up the bullshit of your body in connection because I live it, and I can't prove it because you cannot physically be in my body. But I've explained to people why I don't suffer, and the ones who are smart have noticed that I was saying and telling the truth. I don't try to tell the truth because I already know I'm telling the truth because I don't need to lie. Why would I hide Maria just because you don't believe I'm real? Wow, did you know Dr. Daniel Fox informs me of why people don't think kind people are real? Yeah, they actually test them. Guess what happens when a masculine or dysregulated feminine, one and the same. Guess what happens when Cusco tests Pacha, Emperor's New Groove? Nothing. Except for Pacha learns Cusco's hand. Cusco stays in shame. Oh, whoop, there you is. So when you see mediocrity, just remember that it's not impressive, because what's impressive is love, compassion, and forgiveness, and being yourself in ventral vagal state, which was what you were meant to be to begin with. The kingdom of God is within you. Thank you, Jesus. So the ones who keep using Lucifer, no, not for the smart children who do know who God is. Discerning, equanimous love. He doesn't have favorites. She, he, they, source. Nobody has favorites. Anyone who's getting self-righteous and in their angry butthole has a body that needs a therapist, not us. We don't need to be near them. They won't want to be near us because they'll be like, you're not real. And then they'll say it's dangerous to have no emotions and that the modern day therapists are trying to imprison you and that it's not inherently healthy or enlightening to be non-reactive, and that furthermore there's imagination for evil. I'm like, no, there's education, and no, evil doesn't exist in the philosophical religious textbooks anymore for these smart human beings. Also, again, as God points out, so religious, you're all my brothers and sisters. The stories of the Lucifer thing, it's resolved. It's all shame. You know what shame is? Scaredy cats. It's sad because the fearful ones leave their children, their inner child, to die in hell, while I think, wow, if only we're a brave boy and girl and you went to Patrick Tiahan, you'd find yourself healed versus scribbling on a wall and thinking that I'm fake. Because how does that make me feel? I feel good. Na. I knew that I won't have to be near anybody who's a pouty jerk, because like Albert Einstein says, stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution, and we are trying to save air, water, and food. So we don't want to be the future humans around the ignorant ones. They're also passé. It's old news. The reptilian nervous system, it's not a species. They're actually looking great in their fancy suits, but inside, not looking good. So you're going to use mindful communication skills and be back at IHP, paid and or free, because you use your ventral vagal state, or you know the real deal, which is, yes, some people suffer life, they can get out of it. So I don't need to hide that I have a ventral vagal state, and I also can't prove it. So when I see a cynic saying, I just want it to be a world where it's not about what feels right, what is right, I'm like, wow, if I went up to him, it doesn't matter, because you know what the left mode does? Excuse me, you're confusing science, spirituality. No, I bring them together. I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together. I'm a mystic in the 5D plane and beyond. I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. I'm an Akashic record reader. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a tarot oracle card reader. No, because I'm a mystic too. I'm a Reiki master too. And that's called a losing strategy. According to Tarot Real, to me, it's just my brother saying, no, I'm like you, and I know what happens. Walk like you, talk like you, the monkey. Anybody? Yeah, the Jungle Boy. So as long as you got teenagers in a room, they're going to try and get pats on the back. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me try again. My men friends say that I don't talk right. And my women friends, well, we're going to put them to the side, because they tell me either to get in your face in a way that's not nice, or to allow you to get away with shit that's not nice either. But I will allow you to get away with swiping a kiss, and then I'll reiterate, I'm just your friend. Just because I'm polyamory don't mean you're part of my poly fidelity vessel. In fact, you're not. But I don't have to speak those words to them. I just ensure myself, okay, next time, just try harder to not give mixed messages like your men friends said, and that's how it works. So the women want to say you can yell in their face. I'm going to say biologically rude people, emotionally immature people don't need yelling. They were already shamed as children. What they're playing out is their karma, which is their non-metabolized, unfinished business. I would feel really sad to actually shame a person who's already ashamed, and then that they won't learn anything. Like Cusco at the end of the movie lies to Pacha. He still doesn't want to be seen. They need Patrick Tian. You're not going to raise your frequency or get out of childhood trauma by thinking that Boca Raton or me can do anything. No, I work with the self-agents because we're future humans. And because all the other ones need first therapy, then once they're ready to forgive, like Patrick Tian points out, then they'll probably enjoy ventral energy, because they'll be like, yep, I got what you got. And that's why when they're alike, I mean, really, I would love all my brothers and sisters to be around us, but they are not convinced that we are kind and compassionate and loving, and our nervous system ticks the fuck off of, no, their nervous system is reminded of the potential they can achieve. They choose mediocrity. So unhealthy self-worth people don't like healthy self-worth boundaries. Oh, it's not, I'm a healer, how dare you traumatize? That's not healthy. No, they actually don't like to be repeated things more than a certain amount of times. And then if they really want to say you're friends, then they do. And that's nice, because it's like, okay, finally we're figuring it out. It happens all the time. I got plenty of emotionally immature people around me. My facade friend, I don't yell at him in his face anymore. So you use mindful communication skills, inner growth mindset practices, and lifestyle choices alongside spiritual growth guidance tools successfully for personal development and spiritual development and growth when you are in that ventral vagal state. So well-being, resiliency, the restorative embodiment, it's enjoyable because your body is comfortable with it. If you struggle with it, that's why Dr. IHP-IG, she shares a lot on how that works. And that's why also Patrick Tian, he helps the childhood trauma survivors. Tarot Real helps the couples who want to be real couples. I support those who want to become the actual more badass, because love is badass, compassion is badass, shame is not badass. No, but shame on those who are pseudo intellectuals and those who are telling you that God is scary and that Lucifer is still real. Shame on the liars who don't use information. Then again, we have flat earthers, and everybody's going to make sense to themselves. And again, 97% of what is out there is unavailable for scientists to observe. So technically, we're going to have what we've always had. Different groups of people, except for one group, those who are going to be back are Dharma, the other one's Karma, and really, again, the low frequency. They are divisive, which is why, like Diego's family, they don't have each other's back. And just like the teenagers I saw, backstabbers, liars, cowards. I'm 19, I say, hey God, I didn't see any Lucifer, just a bunch of liars. I don't know what to do with them, but I did learn not to play the know-it-all, and now here I am. Still judging human suffering? No, not a waste of my fucking time. Just going to be out there because we get to witness those people who have been determined. Thanks, Robert Spolsky. You gave every person an excuse for why they don't have free will to go to a therapist, heal themselves, get into their true self. The kingdom of God is just waiting for them. And basically their body is the smart. The feminine is smart. She's empowered. It's the left brain that by itself. But as Pat Ogden points out, when we learn to read the body and track its language, that is the somatic narrative. It's the narrative of the body. The verbal story is secondary to the somatic narrative because the body really speaks and can't be deceived by minds. But guess what happens when somebody has shame to the point of where it's self-loathing, gut wrench, torn apart, and they're so defective that they no, I will not be seen. It's not a voice. It's actually here, which is why what will dissolve that compulsive, the thief, the shame, as the Sadhguru story I read to you, compassion, not punishment. Compassion beyond a shadow of sensibility will shatter, but it won't shatter shame if the person doesn't understand the psych education, which is why it's pointless. The philosophy, religious stuff doesn't lead a person to become the kingdom of God. No, the person with common sense who's intelligent enough to notice, why would I not like a kind person? Why would I not like the modern therapists who are actually making valid points? Am I an adaptive child part? What was that? Adaptive child part is, Terry, where are you? With that lovely, as he informs me what an adaptive child part is. Child's version of what a grown-up is supposed to look like. It leads, yes, it tends to be perfectionistic, unforgiving, and it also does this thing where it plays out. Let me go find it, because it is fascinating to see the least that the data continues to replicate itself. Black and white thinking, it's all or nothing. They have groups and they only like their group. Then they don't learn new skills and they want to preserve their lifestyle just the way it is, which is why the pseudo-intellectuals with their dogma, yeah, all of that. That's awesome. So again, the Dharma people, we're like, yeah, we're all a bit different. We all are in different places. It's cool. Some of us suffer, some of us don't. So that's how it works when you have grown-ups. Functioning child adults know, yep, some people have trauma charges so big that they don't want to in any way, shape, or form become those who can use the communication skills of the mindfully ventral vagal state right here. So as I'm in the midst of panic attacks, at least 2, if not 3 times, I'm actually interacting with people, talking, doing shit, even make a conscious choice in the absence of expecting anything. Lo and behold, it goes just as I thought it might because of certain things, but I didn't say no, it's going to go different. I just said, I don't know yet. Let me try, but without thinking that it'll go in the positive direction that I would like it to go. So yeah, adaptive child part people, they view intimacy as a threat, and they not only react to an aggressor, but they also identify, and the aggressor's not me, it's their home, their parents, and their siblings, and however many of those 5 alloparenting people around them. So when someone's unkind to you, please remember, it's not Lucifer. It's called shame, blame, fault, revenge. It's called envy, jealousy, spite. That currency is an adaptive child part who's using half a brain. It's a straitjacket of a logical, I don't want feelings. Okay, you have feelings. Oh, look, you're not real. No, we are real. You just haven't gotten here yet. It's okay. You don't have to be a body in connection, but please disengage from making fun of the securely attached, non-traumatized, mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people. No, you're not making fun of us. You're saying that we don't exist. And I can't prove to you my body, but I will speak it. And I will share God, discerning, equanimous love. Do you know what the definition of prophecy is? Speak forth mind and heart of God. When I hear anybody still using Lucifer and telling you all the ancient textbooks, I'm like, wow, okay, you need to get updated on neuroscience, neurobiology, mental health, but you need like 2-3 years of it, like I did. And then maybe, and actually, you know what? Let me oversee you. Let me ensure you're watching the right ones, because the pseudo-intellectuals, again, you can totally tell they don't like the facts, really. And then they're like also just all honed in on just one angle. That's called the one focus, by the way, and they're also enamored with themselves. They're cut off from Purusha Prakriti. So when people have the amygdala alert, they're only using half a brain, so they're superficial. They do stereotypes. Then they actually are able, like the adaptive child part, to build a little breadcrumb trails because they're just wanting to be right, which is why they're skewing it by the minute. They're not in the land of truth, neutrality, and duality. They're not grounded in reality, knowing that any of my cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable. So they have no humility nor intellect because they don't have two sides, so they're not intelligent. In fact, they don't know how to encourage, comfort, challenge, or strengthen. No, they know how to make up stories from yesterday's news, like when I found out they made up the story of Adam and Eve. Now they've also created a museum to teach about Adam and Eve and not Darwinism. I didn't learn from my Christian Catholic catechist that I'm supposed to stay ignorant in a cave. So as long as these people who want to take their children to hospitals think they know more God than we do, I'm like, yeah, okay, science is in the Constitution. Science is not evil. We created it to understand things. And oh, guess what? Epilepsy. It's no longer the wrath of the gods. Why Hippocrates, or however he's called? Because medicine, doctors. So they're the ones who are inconsistent. They just like their group. Let them have their group. In the meantime, being a leader does not mean dominating the situation. It means empowering people to do what they would not have imagined possible. Thanks to Dr. Daniel Siegel, I have a hand model. He got chased down the hallways because his colleagues, why are you teaching hand model? That's not how the brain works. Trying to make them understand it in some way, shape, or form, like I try to make you all understand. This is real. You can have it too. I just don't know what it's like to not have it. The ventral vagal state. So even in the midst of a panic attack, I'm in my prefrontal cortex. I'm channeling. I'm down. It's amazing, by the way. That's why the 5D mystics are going to have it love. You come on over because 4D, my gosh, they're on the fourth wave of twin flames. They continue creating little groups here and there and everywhere, and they're already on another roll. I knew this was going to happen, but now I'm like, okay, they still think that every ascension energy moment, all people are going to expand and no. Some will, because they will choose their health, and that means they will choose to be their true self. Others will choose to stay in the shame stuff. It's not even funny how many people I've seen continue to stagnate. Oh, they're doing great. Don't worry. They got fancy suits, they got cars, they got money, you name it. They got all of that, which anybody would want. But inside, they don't know how to shift their nervous system state to the ventral vagal state. They don't know how to own their sense of self. They don't know how to notice the emotional charges and to uncharge them. So to become emotion mature, they don't even notice their trauma charges and that they're projecting their childhood trauma upon all of us. And then that they're following their Peter Pan leader, which really isn't impressive. They do not choose emotional maturity, mastery, let alone depth, because they're emotionally unavailable to vulnerability. So they are not going to have fun. I mean, they're going to think that a ball and chain is fun. They don't own their subconscious, implicit, explicit memory, their emotions from their childhood, from grown-up land. They don't own decision-making. They're actively not even remotely half of what Pinocchio, at least you got to hit rock bottom and then you got awakened to become a real boy. I mean, do we really need people to still be hurting each other? As Patrick Chan points out, there's plenty of free content online. So, with that being said, self-led, securely attached, non-traumatized people, we pursue a restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, and regulating life. It is because we feel and think in ventral vagal state. So you have the secure attachment and or the earned secure attachment, and with the body in connection, you're able therefore to make the best of, again, that's well-being practices which involve thinking and feeling. And then we also have the spiritual toolkits. So when Akashic record readings are given to people who don't do anything about their becoming a grown-up, they'll live out their, again, self-fulfilling prophecy from their 2-year-old. So they don't notice that their left is not aligned with their body and their right. And they really say that I don't exist because life is suffering. And then you say, okay, Zen master, with your laundry, you could have practiced using communication skills mindfully with, oh, look, I'm sad. So let me think, let me move into my prefrontal. That's how it works. And that's with a bunch of people that are also in their VBS though, because obviously if you do it alone, I mean, you can do it alone. I know plenty of people who do it alone, but that's why it's nice to have each other, because we can make the best of all the spiritual practices. We can also have fun with Akashic Record readings, Reiki, and Tarot. By the way, remember, our paid subscribers, we have inner growth mindset exercises, readings, spotlights, and I have plans because there's going to be a taste of the masterclass because we haven't had our full signups yet. You can email me to get on the list priority. As for our workshops and retreats, the same thing goes. But meantime, I have plans for our lovely mindfulness practices to integrate that, which are also universal love transmission sessions, which you see a sample of on the IHP podcast on YouTube. If you're hearing me, you want to visit YouTube for that. Yes, because it's not, I don't believe I did put them on the podcast, but you'd have to like go eons behind. Instead on YouTube, it's in a nice little folder all organized. But if you have challenges or you don't want to use YouTube or you can't, reach out to me. Those who are listening, listen for you who are seeing me, okay? And I'll make sure to get somehow them organized so that you can actually, you know what, I might upload them to our paid content eventually. So just reach out and let me know. Meantime, as I was saying, we make the best of all of that, which are spiritual practices and lifestyle choices, the healthy, self-soothing kind, eating, drinking, not the, I mean, okay, again, the sex stuff is not a sin, please, unless you still live the medieval times and with ignorant human beings who are mediocre, who make fun of polyamory. No, we are not all masochists, and no, we are not unfaithful. It's called consensual non-monogamy. We also have vessels, and we have authentic, transparent conversations, because monoamory and polyamory are not competing. The human species can do whatever they want. When they're securely attached and they are self-led, they're cool because they're smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. They're not emotionally immature or insecure, and we accept that different cultures think jealousy is something that means they love each other. It's not true, but you know, hey, everybody has their cup of tea, so you leave it alone, because not all emotionally immature people, again, not everybody wants the ventral vagal state, and just, it's why we're the future humans. FYI, just keep this in mind. Okay, so while we make the best of the retreats and mentorship and all of this, some say, yeah, again, it's not true, it helps, it brings demons out of you. Okay. So we can put into practice the mental, emotion, physical exercises with body, mind, heart, brain, and self in harmony. That's why. And with complete self-awareness and the pursuit of our emotional, mental maturity and mastery, we're enjoying the left and the right. And that's the part. So unknowns, uncertainties, unexpecteds are not like, oh my God, God just tested me. Akash just tested me. Source just tested me. Lucifer just tested. Is this always a test? Do you ever end school? I mean, I still have life happening, but it's not a test, because I'm actually waking up every day. I feel good. No. I knew that I would. People who don't believe it, again, please, I'm telling you what ventral energy feels like and ventral vagal state. Dr. Amy Pigeon has made me very much well aware of some people, even after years of therapy, they're still working to get out of the survival. I don't know that. I don't know that state. Okay, so that's why I told you about the panic attacks in the short, because I'm not ever clinically dissociated, 45 years of age, and I have stopped, thank goodness, having the big panic attacks. That's because I had 2 Kundalini awakenings, light body, rainbow body. Once I was expanded after the rainbow body, I was like, okay, I need more support, and there you go. Sadhguru, thanks for coming around, man, and more knowledge, and now I'm just like one with Akash. It's just amazing. So yeah, you will know as you're moving into this. I can never forget when I began expanding. I was like, I'm closer to heaven, but I know I'm not in heaven because I'm alive. And they always said it was when you're dead, but heaven in the body. Restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating people. You get the book. The sciences explain that which spirituality had told me. That's the proof. The science is the proof, not me. Well, I mean, I can be, but again, even if you dissected me, you wouldn't know. So we'd have to get... Yeah, I don't think they want to do that. I tried to reach out to the smart people. They know of us. That's why they like, yeah, if you're a future human, sure, Maria, you're just a flow state, securely attached and untraumatized person. There's nothing like amazing about your brain and the way it works. I reached out to the smart ones. I'm telling you, neuroscientists, they're all over this shit. And mental health professionals, they know all about how easy it is to be on. And then the other ones who are saying it's hard. What was it, Ron Siegel? Telling ourselves that we should be nicer to ourselves doesn't seem to help. It's only once we can connect with the inner hurt that it gets better. Yes, so Ron Siegel, as he points out, it's once you say yes to all your child parts, you become a grown-up, then you're like, okay, cool, so life's taking place. I get to work through my quirks, personality patterns, we all have it. And we all have different levels of tolerance. And mine, again, window welcome to emotions, because why would I not want to feel? That's like the most amazing part of life. So we're comfortable with deep emotions and mental activity. This is all emotions, deep, not reactive. They're two different things. Depth of sadness, of anger, of fear. Fear is the most challenging, again, those 3 subcortical areas. So feeling and thinking are wanted. Being vulnerable is not uncomfortable. Rather, it is the norm and desired because we are creating from a place of authenticity. You being your genuine self, not hiding yourself, not ashamed of crying in front of anybody. Even if you're, butt naked, it doesn't matter. It happens because the bear won't eat us anymore. So we're lucky like that. We don't have to live in nature anymore. I know some people want to. I don't. I like living with people. I like nature. Bring me to the ocean. But I'm just saying, I don't want to hug. The tree is hard to hug. A person is nicer to hug. Although I want to build more trees, meaning bury them. So that oxygen, because we want air, water, food again. We want to save the planet for the future generations, since there's so many people who are making children and not caring about the environment. Yeah, seriously, I'm not even joking. So let's make it happen, like Sadhguru says. So the ones of us who are here, we also want only genuine, open-hearted relationships. So even when we're around emotionally immature, unavailable people, we're building a genuine one. So we don't cut you out of the herd like what Diego, Manny, and Sid do. And Sid says to Manny, come on, Manny, we all make mistakes, because Sid knows all about how it feels to get rejected. And he also knows, Diego's a good part of the herd. So we're all a herd here at IHP, and the securely attached, non-traumatized people, again, it's self-led people. Doesn't mean that they didn't have the trauma charges. We all did, but now they know how to work with their emotional brain. That's why it's non-traumatized. Pat Ogden explains it. A securely attached, non-traumatized person self-regulates in the absence of another human being. It's beautiful, isn't it? If you're still here, I know you're one of us. Thank goodness. Has anybody gotten tired of those people who don't know how to self-regulate yet? I've been meeting a bunch of them, and I'm like, wow, you're doing amazing. It's amazing to meet you. And then some are instead in their dark night of the soul and their ego death. And it's like, okay, let's see. Are they going to make it out of the 4D plane, or are they going to stick to that stuff? Because I know that we have different soul age groups, and I'm in the enlightenment soul age group, way different energy than the spirituality soul age group people. Yeah, I'll talk about that one in another episode. But in the meantime, we love all equally. So with self-agency and empowerment, we create resiliency when unknowns, unexpecteds, uncertainties, and unwanteds take place in relationships and life. That's why we don't have a saga or drama with any of our twin flame or flames or our soulmates. It's not you're the one forever and ever. It's you are one of the many people of my oversoul, and then we'll see what happens. When I got to move from the one to the ones to the no ones, I knew we were on a theme, and I was like, I know I'm going to be able to share that with the other mystics so that they can understand it just as easily as I did. The depth of your emotional plane, you get to master it. Anger, sadness, fear. Those are 3 subcortical areas. We all have them. The ventral vagal state makes it easy for you to move into your prefrontal, and that's why your body. Is it connected? If it's not connected, then you want to first do EMDR, child parts work, somatics with a good therapist. It might take 20 years. We don't know, but at the end of the day, you will be able to get there, as Dr. Daniel Fox presents. And there's Kylie. She's doing it. She's a narcissist who's healing, and she's in remission from borderline personality disorder. Then we have Patrick Tiahan, who he's done it. He's a healing, I always say, therapist, healing childhood trauma survivor. Healed and healing, because I don't know how he feels if he's wholly, completely healed. And we all know that trauma, like even my 3-year-old, she comes up with my mom, so we continue to work with our reactivity. And that's why the mindful communication skills, their inner growth and outer growth, because you actually present true virtue, true integrity. It's called to be saluted. It's not about decency. You treat people with decency, because shame is really sad for them, not for us. But you don't look at them with pity, because that's disrespectful. God would not want that. So I can't pity you. I can look at you, and while I stare people down with the ventral vagal state as a self-empowered, enlightened being, they think you're a bitch. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But so when this human being said, at least you looked at me, I said, thank goodness, at least he feels satisfied with his emotionally immature ego, so he can sleep well at night now that he's told me his 2 cents. Because you know what 16-year-olds want to do. They're spiting their own home, and so they're not really bothered with their 3-year-old who's still broken in shame. They're just deciding to tell somebody else off without noticing that they have unfinished business from their own 0-8-year-old. So it's just a codependent person who didn't make peace with their home, the home. And that's why it's not personal. So see, it's not offensive. It's more like, wow, so sorry that ignorance is still king with mediocre people who are the masses, yes, of 3D, 4D. So they follow people who tell them it's dangerous to have no emotions. You cannot physically have no emotions. So we choose healthy self-soothing, mechanisms and patterns of behaviors, and we aren't ashamed to be seen as quirky as can be. We enjoy being authentic and vulnerable as our true selves in connection, not the protection stuff, anchored in ventral energy, thanks to mindful mindset practices and lifestyle choices. And so as spiritual or secular self-agents, we live mindfully. We do not ignore what we bring to the table in our day-to-day life and relationships. We also don't ignore how we feel, how we wake up in the morning. We don't ignore how we spend those 24 hours because we want to live, a life that is for the future generations, something they can know. Future humans, they're all going to be in their prefrontal cortex and ventral vagal state because our species consistently evolves. Decentralizing of the self, or decentralization of the self. Lovely Patrick McNamara explains all about how it goes when it goes well, and I'm proof of it. Again, the one to the ones to no ones didn't say, oh, there's no one. No, it's wow, okay, so people need to know how to be their whole self, have an integrated brain, be securely attached, non-traumatized human beings in the first foremost place, and then they're emotionally available. So then I have a real boy, a real girl, a real day. So it's only at that point that I have a securely attached, non-traumatized human being who's ready to be an actual person, meaning their self, So yeah, I was already myself by the time I was a teenager. I told the teenage boyfriend, I said, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm heading, I know what I'm got. Do you want in or not? Good, okay, cool. 4 years down the line, he didn't want in. It was okay though. A month after, I'm like, thank goodness. There's so many better suitors. And then the one and the ones, yes, there's a whole story there. But again, it was, you know what? Even if I don't know what I'm going to see, I already know I'm going to see and I'm going to have learned. And I did. And that's because as a mystic, I got Kali, Shiva, Krishna Lila, and I got to be opened up to infinity and beyond. It's amazing to be a mystic, by the way, in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and to know God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. And Buddha and I have a thing because he makes fun of me because I see the suffering, and I make fun of him because I'm like, they don't use it the right way. They're not moving into their whole self. They need to integrate their child parts so they can do all the yoga and ventral vagal toning. If they got a breakdown and go spread rumors about it bringing demons, you didn't do anything. It's not your fault, Buddha. Like with meditation and mindfulness, it brings integration, but if they're non-bilaterally integrated and don't notice, oh look, I can't bring two sides because I need to get a therapist first. We can't make them. They scribble on boards and say, those people aren't real. We are real. You go scribble. Scribble. Go hang out with Dr. Amy Apijan so you can hang out with somebody who knows what it's like to continue to work to get a body that is in ventral vagal state. I'm already there. So this is where it's, again, not a competition, please. I've had people get off on my panic attacks. It's disgusting. And that's because it's a person who's actually doing upon their own self that which was done to them, an abuse and more. And I'm thinking, I don't know the other grown up. I know one grown up. And in the meantime, I'm thinking, hey, Patrick Chan, yes, they're all cowards. They abandoned their inner child and they don't want to become an inner adult. And I'm with you. So when someone wants to tell me about Lucifer demons, I think, are you whole yet? Because if you're getting off on anything that is in any way, shape, or form related to shame, blame, fault, revenge, and an adaptive child part, I can't look at you because otherwise, I know God, I won't play the know-it-all. I'm just going to have to look away because one thing every human being can strive for is to leave this world a little bit better than when I entered it, and I will not be sharing my stare with a person who just told me that they've chosen to stay within their shame and they think the destructive Cusco. You can only lie so much before I have to turn around and make my way away from you because, again, I know what it means to be a person who can tell you, where is it? We all own our own body. So I understand that I've never walked one day in your shoe, basically. And then the smart therapists like Patrick McNamara, Patrick McNamara is a neuroscientist, not the therapist, Peter Levine, and Bezo van der Kolk, and Stephen Porges. They will all remind me, and Robert Sapolsky with his book Determined, that those first 3 years of life are why I have to see Buddha. Let's come in together, suffering. Thanks, Buddha. So, when you see suffering, it's not funny. It's people using temporal junction. And a Zen master who says, y'all have laundry. He has laundry. Not everybody has laundry. Some of us just have tears. Which, by the way, release the trauma charges when done in a healthy way. Not if you're ruminating, which is what he obviously is doing. The dark sides of neuroplasticity. You shut yourself in when you don't know how to put the prefrontal cortex online. So the mindfulness practices, again, are for people who want to do it. Not, I went then, I want to live now. So anybody who just wants to do that. And again, a top priority is, what can we do to leave the planet sustainable and livable for the future generations, in addition to living a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self, true spirituality, or you can just call it secure attachment, non-traumatized, restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people of the future who are here. We live, we love, we laugh, we learn as our true self in a flow state, using good stress, because there's good stress, use stress, woohoo, in life and relationships. Yes, thanks to our ventral vagal state and our daily life mindful mindset practices, lifestyle choices, but also because the truth will set you free unless you don't want to be free from the ghosts of the past. So the people who don't want to be free of our ancestors' ancient stories, we already know who they are, because, consciousness, walk like an Egyptian, love, fear. The shameful ones are going to stick to their leaders. They're 7 to 14. They're not charming to us. But thanks, Michael Stone, for your forensic chronologist skill. 1 to 22. Oh, the pseudo intellectuals are all in there, the ones who have dogma for you, not the ones of us who bring it all in. I mean, again, I forget data, I fuck it up. I'm authentically always sharing with you all. I'm pseudoscience, but I'm a mystic. I'm here for spiritual collective. So I don't expect any of the sciences people to be like, wow, she's amazing. No, I'm sure you'll find plenty of errors, like with grammar. Again, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm an imperfect perfectionist. I care about you being yourself and having a good time while also learning some stuff. And remember, as Dr. Daniel Siegel points out, personality is a filter through which our temperament deals with us as one nervous system body being here on Earth. Ours is in connection, so we can be in the maximum state of uncertainty, which is awareness. So I focus my attention in awareness. I'm in the right mode, woohoo, and I got an emotional and mental brain. And now that I'm in awareness, I become aware of who I really am. And thank you, Dr. Dan Siegel. Again, it's not the personality patterns, but I do work with it. And in fact, there are a bunch of ways that I work with the PDP framework from Dr. Daniel Siegel and the Enneagram with mindfulness practices and the personal development and spiritual growth stuff, one-to-one mentorship, our masterclass, our workshops, our retreats, the content for our paid subscribers, because again, you know how to shift your nervous system to the ventral vagal state means you know the difference and you are not wanting to stay in that. Okay, so Dr. Amy Apigian, for any of you who might be struggling with your nervous system, because she has a bunch of good videos and a book coming out, and she's just recently, I listened to one of her episodes where she talks about her story and what happened to her, and so you will benefit from that. I have always energy, always vitality, because my ventral vagal state is what's here. So the content here is resonating with people who are ready and wanting it. Depth of emotion, you're not saying no to it. We will be back with more because I have some readings and story times. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. If you know people who are resonating with this, let them know about IHP and become a paid subscriber, not only for the practices that are exercises, readings, and spotlights, but for more to come, and because you're going to support the channel to grow, because we all, yes, money, we all will be able to sustain ourselves, and particularly the content. I love bringing it to you. So become a paid subscriber, the link again below, and I have Patreon that I'm organizing, as well as TikTok. And then you email for other inquiries. Thank you for stopping by.